keep it pure lust.
Oh, you don't,
admiration for
I can
mental
like
capacity.
I can like the physical, but
Yeah.
if I start liking the intellectual and the emotional,
that's biology, baby.
Backdoors and Blindside starts now.
I understand healthy competition and counter-programming benefits all, but it's kind of bullshit that this is ending right on the same week that Survivor 50 is starting.
1 day overlap.
Yeah, fuck you.
We don't get a break.
It's time to attack all networks who pitch us these types of shows, because we are in the midst of finishing up our coverage of Traitors Season 4 here on Backdoors and Blindsides, talking competition reality TV. This is episode 9. We're playing a little bit of catch up here, and fuck, I'm tired already. I mean, like we've been sprinting to catch up on episodes basically the entire run of this season, and then we skipped 1 week, and now we're playing catch up again as we rush into our coverage of Survivor 50 starting this coming week as well. So fucking save your episodes. Make
Reality
sure you hit
TV
subscribe.
fire hose straight to the back of our throats. It's Patrick getting pelted with all of the snowballs during their snowball fight, and his mouth's just filling up 10 times the size of him. That's what we are, but with reality TV. But
I got
it's
Alan
fun.
behind me. I got Jeff in front of me, fucking airtight. It's
Eiffel Towering you.
It's fucking brutal, man. But we digress
I see what you did there,
because
butts.
we're happy to be here doing podcasts between the two of us for all of you lovely, beautiful, handsome, amazing people. Episode 9, Think Outside the Box.
The first note that I have here is just, I love this show because I'm kind of rooting for both sides. Yes, we're always kind of pulling for the traitors. That's where we stand. And yes, this currently is the root for Rob show at the moment. But there's still so much to love about, the Tara and Johnny relationship, their, kind of dynamic duo. I root maybe a little less for them after the way that the end of this episode plays out. But, I still want to see more of Mark. I still want to see more of Kristen. I'm not really sure what Mara's doing. She's kind of like a statue or fixture in the castle at this point. But there's just a lot to kind of be excited about. And I feel like my reality TV watching experience, I've mentioned before, is historically I've gone in and picked my favorites to win, and it ends terribly for me.
We kind of condone that nowadays. We condemn that nowadays.
Yes, no, I have gotten out of that habit, but I'm happy I have, because honestly right now I'm like, go team, go sports.
Yeah, just
mostly Rob,
just
though.
For the love of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's nice about Traitors, is it is incredibly watchable, kind of no matter what side you're looking at it from.
I love a TV show that's watchable.
Hard to fucking come by nowadays, as we're just inundated with every streaming service as well as cable network.
I mean, talk about watchable.
Throwing money away.
We don't cover it here, but I indulge in the dating reality TV shows, and the current season of Love is Blind Ohio is on right now, and god damn is that a multitasking show, meaning that I have to work while I watch it. It's on in the background. I'll tune in and out of it. I tried sitting down and watching that show without anything else. Like yesterday, I've been having some wrist problems. My wrist has been hurting. So I was trying to just like take some time to ice my wrist and watch TV. And I had to change the channel. I was like, oh my God, I can't give my fully functioning 100% brain all of this at once. I have to sparse it out.
If there is any reason for the play at 1.5 speed button to exist on streaming, it's that fucking show.
Yeah.
That show is mind-numbing, dude.
Oh, it's slop at this point. Maybe it
garbage.
never wasn't slop, but...
And I'm not condemning it because it's a dating show. Like, the dating show's not really for me, but I understand Like, I understand their purpose, and I think that I'm very glad that they exist.
To find love, that's the purpose.
Right. But like Love Island, sure, like it's all people who have been hit in the head more than a couple of times, but they've managed to like turn that show into spectacle.
Yeah.
Right? And like that's the beautiful thing about it. All those other shows, like even Bachelor, they're kind of revamping to give it like the spectacle that is going to appeal to everyone. There's
that Gen
nothing,
Z approach.
Yeah, there's nothing rooted in spectacle around Love is Blind. I mean, that shit is as repetitive as it gets, I think.
No, it's the opposite of Traitors because I'm actively rooting against all of the couples.
Well, that's the thing. I
don't like any of them.
I walk into the room, and that's not just for this season, but every season I've ever been around, I walk in and I'm like, everyone on this show is intensely unlikable.
I'm sorry, I retract that statement. I like the one couple this season that they are like deciding to not really feature because they don't have enough bandwidth, they don't have enough production crew, they don't have enough budget to follow them. They've kind of made them film themselves on their fucking iPhones, selfie style. That's my favorite couple. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Is it because they're not interesting because they're probably just enjoying being married?
Yes, exactly.
or being engaged?
Yeah. That's the couple I'm most interested in. Anyways, I digress. We have a traitor recruitment to get to.
That's right.
Fun.
So we ended last episode with Eric getting the call, right? And, we were also unsure if this was going to be followed up with a murder or anything like that. But we follow Eric down the steps, kind of into the courtyard. And there is our traitor with their hood up. And, opening scene of this episode. Traitor flips the hood back, and it is none other than Handsome Rob.
His mouth was on the ground.
Yeah, Eric is freaking out, and then Rob, another just fucking cool as hell. Sup, playa?
Yeah.
We get
real calm, like
sup, playa. Like he's having so much fun doing this. But yeah, we get sup, playa. We get yo, sup.
Yeah. And Eric gets faced with an ultimatum. Join and be a traitor or die, which I don't really understand. I guess they have to put that on there or die on there to have some extra pizzazz, some extra weight to it, right? But it really doesn't make any sense. And it's always been a little strange to me because who the fuck is going to walk away and be like, you know what? I played this game as a faithful. I'm going to die a faithful. I'm going to just absolutely rip away any chance of the money that I can get from myself and just bow out. The only time anything has ever happened like this on Traitors was in season 1. So if you haven't seen season 1, feel free to, fast forward a little bit because I will give a spoiler away. But Ari, a former bachelor, which we don't like him.
I remember that guy.
He's kind of a piece of shit. But not as much.
Wasn't that guy like rich as fuck? Wasn't he like a race car driver?
He's a race car, like an F1 kind of race car driver before F1 was mainstream and got really cool. But he was on the Traitors. He was a traitor, and he bowed out at the very, very final banishment.
Why?
Because he knew Sari was building up and was going to implicate him and going to try to get him out. And it was going to be kind of this bloody battle at the end. And he didn't want to do it. Basically, man was rich as fuck. He was tired of playing games. He didn't want to take money away from people. And then our lovely Sari won it all by herself.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, man. I feel like if you're being cast in this show, you should have an obligation or a sense of obligation to finish it out in however the game plays out, because what you're doing is you're diminishing the seriousness of the game. Like you're kind of taking away from the integrity of the game because you're given a role at the start and you play that role. That's the no matter what, you get to be on TV until you get kicked out of the game. So it's because this is a two-pronged thing. Obviously there's a shot at winning money, but you're also just on television. And I would guess that fucking Ari the Bachelor is not on television much outside of that.
To be fair, and to his credit, I will say, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. It was him and Sari against two noobs. The first season was half reality TV celebrities and half just randos off the street.
So they put randos in that game with Sari as a traitor?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's why she won. She fucking rolled all
Shout
of them. So he was at the end with her and 2 other just everyday people, so to speak. And I think maybe that's why he felt bad, because he's like, I already got some of the fame, some of the fortune. I don't want to take it away from these people, but then don't do the game. That's what you're there to do. So it was a little strange, and I don't condone how he went out, but it brings us back to this join or die thing, which I'm like, why even say die? Why even put that out there as something that people would contemplate? Because obviously people want to be in the game. Obviously people want the money. So why would they decide to essentially commit reality TV suicide and be like, yeah, I'm done?
The only way that I see that being interesting is if almost like what could have been a Brittany and Danielle moment last season, where someone tries to recruit their like mortal enemy, right? And the enemy says, no,
yeah, I hate you, fuck you, I don't want to do anything with you.
Because I know that I'm not
they're
going
kind of
to make
frenemies
it.
too.
Well, and so not the best example, but you know, some people who have like legit heat off camera, and they say, I don't want to go to the end of this game with
Michael
you.
Rappaport and Colton.
Sure,
Could you imagine if Michael recruited Colton or vice versa, if they were traitors? That would have been a shit show.
I think Michael as a traitor would be amazing, and like some DLC that I wouldn't mind seeing for the season, just like bonus round or something like that.
I mean, I've said it before. I've said it about last season of Traitors. I would take the same exact cast, do it all over again.
Yeah, I mean, last season was gold.
Mix up the roles.
It was lightning in a bottle. I think that if they say, I'm not going to the end of this game with you, and if you kill me now, everyone's going to figure you out, and this is how I know you're going to lose this game, right? I think that would be the only
now?
move. But then also, like, why would you recruit someone who would be capable of that type of decision?
Well, if you're trying to throw them under the bus and get them out as being a traitor because they already have heat on them, or they're an easy fall guy or something like that, which is Eric's one of his concerns. He does mention briefly that, like, oh, he could be trying to use me as, you know, a sacrificial lamb kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think the whole thing's a little strange why we have a join or die. It's just like, no, you're recruited, and that's your role switched.
Revamp like the wording that comes with that. But we do in fact get to murder this evening, even the same night as recruitment. Even
before we get to murder, Eric's quote, I have a great quote from him. He says, I need a helmet and an adult diaper because I'm about to shit myself and about to explode.
Dude,
my head's about to explode.
This is what's nice, because as we get really towards the end of Traitors, we get a lot more from the people who have stuck around. And a lot of times the people who stick around on the faithful side kind of fly under the radar. And so we get moments from Eric and Mark and Kristen and all these players where it's like, oh, these people fucking rule. They just have been kind of playing in the shadows, and which is a move from the playbook.
Oh,
you let the big personalities will tear each other apart. They'll flame out on their own. You just kind of hang out and let that happen. You just need to interject
when it makes sense. It's not your idea. You build other people's ideas up, even if you're a faithful versus 100%. Traitor. But Eric's flabbers are absolutely gasted. He just flabbergasted, but he seems really excited about the whole thing. And he says that he will give Rob his trust and he'll continue to follow his gut. And that is huge for Rob, because he hasn't had trust in the turret in a hot fucking minute.
Not since practically like the first couple of nights.
I mean, I think they were really in a groove the first maybe like 3-4 episodes, kind of after Donna, right after Donna left. They seemed to be in a little bit of a groove there. But Rob, I really was paying attention. So I watched this episode twice. I watched it the first time, and then I was like, we waited too long, and I was like, I forgot what happened. So I had to go back and watch it again to give you people at home fantastic coverage of the show, making sure I didn't miss anything. But I was really on the second watch paying attention to the words that Rob was using. And he kept using words like playa, sup. Yeah. No, he was using words like equal. You're my equal. Trust me. We're going to keep it simple and logical. So he's playing a very even game. He's not trying to over or under inflate things. He is trying to shoot straight and be like, yeah, we're equals right now. Because Eric could very well come into this and be like, I don't feel I feel like I'm a newbie and I don't have any power and it's Rob's show and I'm just here to do what Rob does. But Rob's like, no, we're equals. We are both traitors. Doesn't matter how long you've been a traitor. We are both traitors. So we're going to approach this together moving forward. And he really does seem like he wants Eric there to take to the end. I mean, he's telling Eric to his face, yes, we're equals. But then it's true because he's in his confessional saying, yeah, I want to go to the end with Eric. So far, so good. Looks good for Eric right now being positioned with Rob. It doesn't look like Rob's going to try to throw him under the bus at this point.
And it's the right move for Rob because at this point, everyone in the castle, everyone left in the castle is Rob's friend right now.
Yeah.
Why do anything to change that regardless of their status of traitor versus faithful? It's the best way for him to get to the end of the game, to be buddies with Eric and have his back. Let Eric have some say in the matter because you're so close, dude. You're right there.
And they even kind of talk about that a little bit, saying that they have, 3 more to get through and they can basically taste it at the end. But Eric has to, in this moment, be like, okay, shit, I've been a faithful this whole time. Now I need to switch gears and I need to do so without being obvious.
Right.
Because if his behavior shifts, right, this game is actually really fast. They're only at the castle for, I think, like 2 weeks change, give or take. About. It's a fast game. It's way faster than Big Brother, right? Big Brother, they're in there for about 3.5 months. It's even way faster than Survivor. Survivor, they're there for
4 weeks,
20 some days, 20 to 30 days if you're counting, Ponderosa, the pregame too. They are on a super speedy timeline, but you're with these people all day, every day. You're watching them, you're observing them. Eric better not change his behavior. That's what that is goal numero uno for him right now, is to just be the same.
Becoming a traitor out of recruitment is probably the hardest role that you can have in this game because, all of a sudden you have to flip without letting people know that you flipped. But
he does have the traitor of all traitors there to guide him and to figure it out because Eric has by far been the best this season. Obviously, he's still there. But also, I think he does rival the S4E9 being one of the best traitors to play the game.
Rob, yeah.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, if you get recruited and the person who recruited you was not on your radar at all, I would trust them. Because, all right, this guy is playing the game in such a way that he's clearly on top of everyone.
And if we continue to play it the same way and we play it together, people should not think that about me either. Mm-hmm. People should not think I'm a traitor because we're going to play the game now exactly the same way. But the shift has to be so careful, so subtle to make sure that, it's not too big of a wake in a wave that causes suspicion to wash over him and everyone else. But they go up to the turret, they get right the fuck to it, and they think Johnny is going to take the fall at this next banishment, so they don't want to touch him right now. They were like, you know what? He's gonna go out. So
pretty good.
Why would we murder him when we know he's potentially going to go out in banishment because people think he's a traitor? And Rob says him and Eric are basically going to support people who are pushing for Johnny. Again, what we were saying, Traitors 101. It's not your idea. You're supporting, you're uplifting, you're helping fuel the fire, but you are not the catalyst of the fire. Again, we get another, they entertain Steven as an option to kill, and they say, quote, Steven seems kind of random. They have said this so much about Steven.
So funny.
In the very beginning of this, I got him and Rob confused constantly, just dark haired.
Both handsome guys, yeah.
Guys, I didn't look this up intentionally. I cannot, for the fucking life of me, remember what the hell Steven is from. Why is he here?
One Tree Hill.
One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Among
other things.
Thank you.
One Tree Hill is one of his bigger projects, I guess.
Yeah, I never watched. We have been to Wilmington, though, so that was my closest experience with One Tree Hill.
Honestly, I mean, we've thrown ideas around for a Patreon that will one day actually happen. And we've thrown around some ideas for scripted shows as a part of like a Patreon cover.
Yeah.
Maybe we shortlist that one. I'm comfortable just sharing ideas with the general public and seeing what kind of feedback we get.
I've been against it since college because the shittiest roommate that I had was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck you and your stupid obsessions. I don't want to indulge. I don't know what it I don't want to know what it is. I don't care. So you might have to.
Was it on all of the time while you were there, or was it like
just
everyone
fucking
had
yapped about it all the
So
time?
it was like Twin Peaks for me.
No, worse than that.
Okay.
She's just obnoxious.
Well, she was a shitty.
Yeah, she
person.
was.
What's the worst thing that she did? No one knows her. It's fine.
Some of the people listening might know.
We don't have to say her name.
I unfollowed her on Instagram. I let her still follow me, and then I kept following her dog Instagram account.
Okay.
And then I eventually unfollowed that.
Oh,
but she does, she does still watch my stories. So yeah. I do get a little giggle about it. She was just really petty and really, she just wanted to be a drama queen. She was from Montclair. So she had to rub that in every
Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fucking basically the Sopranos neighborhood is what she made it sound like.
I know a guy from a different Montclair that some people listening to this show know. So yeah, I mean,
she had a fucking stick up her ass. She was controlling one of our other roommates. The funniest thing, one of the funniest things that happened was, it was back when Twitter was a big old thing. Remember subtweeting people?
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. One of our other roommates, who I was her maid of honor and she was my maid of honor. Love her dearly. She used one of the last Ziploc baggies, or the last Ziploc baggie.
Oh, okay.
She put some, snacks in there or whatever to go to class real quick, and she was out the door. They were this other roommate's Ziploc baggies.
Oh.
She immediately took to Twitter and was like, I hate it when your roommates don't replace the things that they take the last of. What a other roommate who used the Ziploc
Everyone
baggie
follows you. What are you doing?
Yeah, we all follow each other, you fucking moron. And so
that's fine. That's
Molly,
not her. Yeah.
Yeah. The good roommate, the one that we like, the one that's our best friend here. She sees this subtweet, obviously. So what does she do? She goes out to the store immediately after class. Didn't need to go to the store. Bought a bag or a box of Ziploc baggies and left them on the floor outside of the other roommate's door.
That rocks.
And then the other roommate opens her door, sees it, and then goes back to Molly and is like, "What? Why are these out here? What? I'm so confused. Why are these out here?" And she's like, "Bitch, are you kidding me? What? We're not going to pretend like I did not see your subtweet about
She leave
me."
any presents in any of the bags?
No. It was an untampered bag.
You gotta tamper a little bit.
And then we moved out the next year, but they had a random roommate, and they were like hoarding knives in their rooms, like kitchen knives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the new roommate was kind of like a badass,
like a knife person.
Like you don't fuck with this bitch. You don't cross her. The other one you could cross,
so
you could fuck with.
Everyone starts carrying knives like they're in West Side Story.
Yeah, the new roommate grabbed a knife was threatening.
Oh, cool.
That's
awesome.
Went back to her room with it. So our old roommate was like, "Fuck, I got a knife up too." So she also took a knife to her room.
Yeah, everyone else has a knife. I need a knife.
I was like, "Fuck you! You deserve every second of this, you dumb bitch." So yeah, we hate her.
I think someone who listens was in a sorority with her.
I'm sure she was.
I'll have to text her.
I'm sure she was. She was crazy and miserable, and yeah, I don't think about her very often, but when I do, man.
How did we get on this?
I don't. One Tree Hill.
Right. So we might do One Tree Hill. On
we digress.
So our options to murder. They throw out Natalie, Dorinda, and Steven. Who do you kill?
I've been saying this for a while now. I think I'd kill Natalie.
Yeah? Why?
She's smart. She has been wrong in every sense of the word in this game. She is not playing it like she's played Survivor. She is not playing it like she's played Amazing Race. I've said again to several friends who this is their first time experiencing Natalie on their TV, and I'm like, what a shame. because she is a fantastic player.
She's fucking awful at Traitors,
she is
dude.
shitting the bed with Traitors. And I encourage people, if you have not seen Natalie in anything else, go find a season that Natalie's on. Go find, Winners at War. Go find one of her Survivor seasons or Blood vs. Water. Go watch that.
Watch Amazing Race.
Yeah.
That's better than this.
She's fantastic. She's able to use those muscles and those pecs a little bit more in some of those other shows, but she is still very smart. She was just smart in all the wrong ways and all the wrong reasons and all the wrong hunches, but she might catch on. So I'd probably kill her. So
I think, or what I wrote down, there's a lot of heat on Natalie. She keeps acting up.
She's acting crazy.
She's being fucking crazy towards Tara, and she was kind of weird with Jam as well. I think that she has the most noise around her, which I've always said is valuable to keep in the game.
Oh, yeah. If you're a traitor, you want the noisy players.
People are throwing, I don't know if I can't remember if he's been written down at this point, but people are throwing Steven's name out there, largely because of Lisa and the gold, which we'll talk about more a little later in the episode when we get to the round table.
Rolling my eyes.
But I think anytime there's any suspicion, it's good to keep around, unless you know that like they're going to get you next.
Right.
Like, you know that someone is onto you specifically. So I think killing Dorinda makes sense here. A couple episodes ago, I said you take Dorinda to the end of the game, but that was kind of assuming that Rob was going to be playing by himself for the rest of the game. You bring Eric in, I think it makes sense at this point to whack one of your allies. To just keep the attention off of you.
It couldn't be me. I love Dorinda. I wouldn't
two biggest
murder
allies
Dorinda
right now. I mean, he definitely like is well liked by all the dudes as well. Like he's got kind of a dudes rock thing going, but Dorinda and Mara follow him around the most. You can't get rid of Mara
because they both want to fuck him.
You can't. Mara is it.
Or they already did. I'm not sure.
Mara goes to the finale with Rob, absolutely. But I think you let Dorinda go at this point, and I think that's what I would do in their situation.
Could you imagine if they fucked in that castle?
We're still honest.
Yes. If they banged in the castle, and he wins at the end, gets the money, fucks her over in the end, and they don't have a relationship. It's just they were kind of like hookup friends in the castle, and she leaves with nothing. She doesn't get a man. She doesn't get the money. She gets basically, I mean, she looks kind of like an idiot right now, just following Rob around, big puppy dog eyes. She doesn't really have much of an arc by herself, except for her little tips with what Dorinda voted for her one time. Who voted for
there was
Tara
like a weird.
I know there's like some weirdness there, but like she is very much a wallflower, and she just is blending into the scenery at this point.
Let's move to breakfast.
The first murder Breckie. Let's get into it.
First three who enter the room: Kristen, Rob, and Mark.
And Kristen says she trusts these two the most.
Rob, I just hear that. I'm like, Rob, you fucking you son of a bitch, you're gonna do it.
Oh, yeah, because again, Kristen, I've said before, I said you should have killed her a while ago when she was tied up to the tree, because she is very smart and she has been flying under the radar a lot of the times. And she says something that I really resonate with. She says that she's an introvert and she only speaks when she has something to say. Respect.
Yeah.
I always felt this way growing up in like school and college and high school, whatever. I would just get so fucking irritated with those kids that would just fucking raise their hand for everything, yap like they know what they're talking about because they want to look or sound smart or have something to say or be the center of attention. I'm like, shut up, fuck. But if you have something to say and you have a delivery and an intention when you say it, it makes your words that much more impactful. And even Eric goes on later to say that. He says, if my words don't have an impact, I don't say it at all.
Well, yeah, because he ends up having to defend
himself. Well, he has to defend himself,
very later on in the episode.
Kristen and him are on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to point out for later. But I firmly believe in anything, in any area of life, that you need to speak with intention, and no one wants to just hear you blab and yap, as I say, as I blab and yap on my own platform.
You've chosen the wrong hobby, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm a hypocrite now.
For 10 years, so
I'm a hypocrite now. But
Eric is freaking out at his first breakfast as a traitor, and what does he do? He decides to just focus on eating instead of talking. And I want to add that to the traitor playbook. When in doubt, stuff your face.
You can talk if your face is full of
You know what I mean? And that's why I think out of the gate you gotta come hungry to breakfast so that it's not suspicious when all of a sudden you got a muffin in place of any theorizing.
So some behind the scenes, I guess, rumors or kind of how production is set up. Afterwards, I've seen that they don't actually sleep in the castle.
What?
Yeah, they cart them off to a hotel.
What?
Yeah, and so
that ruins I wish I didn't know that.
This was specifically for the UK version.
Okay.
I saw this on, but it might hold up for the...
What about all the shots of people in their 4-post beds and the bathtubs?
Yeah, that's a set, sweetheart.
Man.
Yeah, sorry, I'm pulling the curtain open for you here.
Ruins my night.
I know.
Fuck this show.
Apparently they don't sleep at the castle. They sleep at a nearby hotel. They cart them over. That's why they come in groups, because they are, 3 people to a car or whatever.
Okay.
They are not allowed to engage, to talk, to look at anybody when cameras are not rolling. Big no. You do not do that. Do not engage. Do not, make eye contact with anyone when you are not supposed to be on TV. And it's also rumored that they have breakfast at the hotel. So this is like second staged breakfast. But I'm not sure. Again, I saw this for the UK version. I don't know how accurate the source was
people are
either.
chowing down when Alan walks in.
Yeah. But that's just some rumors that I've seen there. You have Johnny coming in. He feels like an idiot.
Yeah, he confesses he's embarrassed. He was used by Candace.
Yeah, he talked even before he knew Candace was a traitor, saying that, traitors like to pull people close and have close, faithful allies to further shield themselves. And he basically was like, yeah, I was a blanket. I feel stupid, which I think is smart for him to come out and fully address, because if he doesn't address it, then that would be suspicious. And people would be like, what are your thoughts on Candace? Your homegirl Candace being a traitor. You have thoughts? But he very much is like, I feel dumb. I feel fooled. I feel blindsided by this. What the fuck? Basically.
Good stance to have, especially as the suspicions are starting to build up around you. How do you make things right if you're Johnny?
Johnny's in a sticky situation. I think this has kind of fucked him.
I think that he missed the opportunity to take someone who's large and in charge aside. Maybe that's Kristen, maybe it's Rob, even though you don't know that Rob's a traitor. You say, look, I'm really you can publicly announce this at the table.
But you have some one-on-ones.
You got to have a one-on-one with a couple different people and say, look, I can't believe that I was led astray and that I was manipulated by Candace. I am worried that sights are now set on me. I need help.
This blew up in my face.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to throw Tara under the bus, but you have to position it in a way that you say, I'm open to any and all considerations. I wasn't like that before. I was not open to Candace being a traitor. This is my hard reset, and I am reborn in this game. And we got to find a traitor. Who is it? I will throw names out. I will support you. I will do whatever you need for you to believe that I'm not a traitor, because I'm not. I'm a faithful.
Yeah, I think that the one-on-ones would be the most useful to him here. Mara tells everyone that she thought Rob was going to be killed because Candace wrote his name down. It's amazing that we're pointing out that Candace wrote Rob's name down 2 nights in a row, but there's no suspicion of him being a traitor. In fact, they all thought that he was going to get killed. That's how over he is as a perceived faithful among the rest of the faithful.
I'm like, Mara, take it one step further. You're so close. That is weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird?
This episode is full of moments where I'm like, oh, Rob's going to fucking win. He's got this in the bag. That was another one that I wrote down of like, wow, even when the attention is called on him, they're thinking about him purely through the lens of being a faithful. However, as people trickle into breakfast, we find out that Dorinda was in fact killed.
Yes. And something that I'd like to point out for our maybe faithful playbook is that the last people to enter breakfast, 99.9% of the time, it could be 100%, I'm unsure, it is production's short list of who could have been killed. Which means that the last batch of people to come in every single breakfast, they're all faithfuls.
Right. Oh, interesting.
So as a faithful, if I'm sitting there, I'm looking at that last group and being like, everyone in that group's a faithful. Never once this season has it been a traitor. Patterns. Let's catch on, people.
Pattern, yeah.
Look at production. Catch on. Let's go. We have Alan come in. And you're smiling.
Do we write down the same thing?
Scone scoffers?
Yes, he goes, "Good morning, my little scone scarfers."
I'd like to think of them as orange juice gluggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's going hard on the beverages at breakfast.
Maybe some salmon slurpers.
Oh, salmon slurpers.
What about some butter toast bingers?
I like salmon slurpers. Salmon slurpers are good.
Croissant crunchers.
That's good. Yeah.
I like salmon slurpers.
Salmon slurpers is a strong contender for
scone scoffers.
Rolodex.
I can't even say it. Scone scoffers feels like a little bit high society.
Scone scarfer.
Scoffers.
Yeah.
Scarfer. It feels a little more high society because like a scone is a very like eat it with my tea and crumpets. But I do like salmon slurpers. That was my favorite that I came up with.
Natalie is leaving breakfast and she's positive that it's Steven. She has
Half the house thinks it's Steven.
She's been off the entire game.
Well, Tara also thinks it's Steven.
Right.
Which means that Johnny thinks it's Steven if they're on the same page. Steven thinks it's Johnny. Kristen, to Tara's face, says that Kristen thinks it's Tara.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got people thinking it's Tara. We have people thinking it's Steven. We have people thinking it's Johnny. Nobody thinks it's the actual traitors.
Let's break that down.
Which is crazy to me.
In chronological order, Steven goes to Mark and Eric and says, it's Johnny. Tara tells Johnny that his name is out there. At this point, Johnny and Tara are meeting out in the open. And they're having their little one-on-ones. And they don't really care who sees.
Because that's counter to what they started out the game as, which was, we don't want to let people in on how close they are. Mm-hmm. And now it's kind of getting do or die. So they're planning on putting all their cards out on the table.
Something I want to point out, again, I think that Johnny is very smart and I think that he is a great player. He just had it, like he was duped by Candace. He says, we need evidence. Everyone is on evidence in this game, which is, again, pattern, right? Like what is convincing people, not even necessarily proven evidence, but just citing something as evidence is what's appealing to.
But now we want to get into evidence because Ron had evidence from the very first banishment, which again, Portia was not a traitor, obviously, but she had 3 pieces of damning evidence against her. So sometimes this evidence acts as a red herring and it's not actually evidence. So
But what I do want to talk about is Kristen and Tara. So Kristen tells Tara that she suspects her because of how scared she always seems. Now, we go back to season 3. Danielle is constantly clutching her pearl. She's fucking
she's shaking.
She's falling to the floor.
She's in the fetal position on the floor like, oh my God.
I think that's where Kristen is getting this from, is because we've seen Traitors in previous seasons really ham up the I'm so scared of getting killed.
But Danielle was like into the theatrics. I don't think Tara is. Tara's just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm scared.
Right. It's like she seems to always be a little behind and she's trying to like catch up and process what's going on. So interesting that Kristen tells Tara face to face, I suspect you. She doesn't say, I'm writing your name down tonight, but she says, I'm just starting to suspect you. Basically giving her a chance to tell her why she is a faithful, right?
But also a stupid move from Kristen's point of view, because if Tara isn't banished next, right? Mm-hmm. You have to make sure you have the numbers to approach someone about this to get them out. Because guess what? If Tara is a traitor, bye, Kristen.
Yeah, for real.
Because you literally just came to me and said that, like, you're on to me. I don't want that in the house if I'm a traitor.
Yeah, I think that's a misstep. You're
Absolutely.
right.
And then, okay, so she's, so in that scenario, that would be if Tara is a traitor. Other scenario, Tara is not a traitor. She is a faithful. Now she doesn't trust Kristen. Now they can't work together. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot if you're Kristen, because you either better get Tara out next banishment, because if she's traitor, she's going to get you out. And if she's faithful, she's never going to trust you again.
Yeah,
What's
you're
the
right.
point of
That
that?
is a little sloppy on Kristen's part. I think she's ready to like really make moves, because I think she's panicking a little bit, because she's like, we've gotten to the end and people are still getting killed. We've been wrong.
But
right?
that's the just the entry level gamer perspective, right?
Mhm.
The one step up gamer, which is the true gamers coming from the Survivor, the Amazing Race, the Big Brother. Rob also is now, I think, considered a gamer.
Maybe people, I would say people who consume the product regularly.
Manipulate, lie, cheat, steal, bluff. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
You can't be telling people to their face what you think of them. You can't.
I was talking to someone about this past weekend, where it's so clear that Rob is a consumer of all of these shows, right? And that's where, like, we don't discriminate against lifestyle players versus gamer players, right? But it clearly is helpful if you look at Dylan Efron. Like, Dylan was a super fan of all of those shows, and he really, I think he made it to the end because he had the right instincts. And once he realized that he had been duped by people, he was able to, like, recognize exactly how they did it because he's watched them play before.
And to be fair, Love Island, different than a lot of the other dating shows, there is a dollar amount prize at the end.
And there's eliminations,
so,
right?
Yeah. So there is still, you know, as fluffy as it is, there is still some strategy, quote unquote, to Love Island so that you can be the last couple there so that you can get the money, whether you want to be in love with this person you've made it with or not, right? So, and also more screen time means more brand deals after this, more collaborations. Yeah. The longer you're on TV, the more famous you're getting, the more deals you're going to get after this. So that's the name of the game. So there is still some strategy coming from that sector of the world. But yeah, let's get into the mission.
So we're on our way to the mission, and Steven tells Mark in the car that it's Johnny all the way. It's important to watch Mark in all of these conversations because Mark is in with so many different subgroups of the faithfuls. He's in with Kristen and Rob. He's clearly in with Steven, right? I think he's kind of in with Natalie too. Like, he's in all of these pockets, and I'm paying close attention, especially since we revealed last episode that he is like a total strategist.
Oh, he said he had stuff all over his room. He had a very detailed journal. Strategy.
I'm watching him in all of these conversations because I'm just watching how he reacts, how he furthers the conversation, the conclusions that he draws from what everyone's telling him. We walk into a clearing in the woods, and there are 9 person-sized boxes with hatched lids, kind of along the lines of a jack-in-the-box, a human-sized jack-in-the-box. Each player climbs into their respective box. They must answer questions based on the traitor's opinion of all of them, of the group. They have to match the answers given by the traitors, and it is revealed that these questions have not been asked yet, and the traitors will have to exit their boxes while everyone else remains inside and decide on their answer together. Then the rest of the group emerges and answers the question individually.
You know what this mission reminds me of?
What?
A Nathan for You bit.
A specific one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, let's for people who don't know what Nathan for You is.
Well, let's just assume that they do.
It's Nathan Fielder from
he's a comic genius.
The Rehearsal,
yeah.
From The Curse. We know and love him. He basically has this show.
Generational talent.
Yes, absolutely. He has this show where he goes in and pitches ridiculous business ideas to businesses and gets them to buy in on them, and then he executes them They all fail horribly. It's a reality show-ish. You don't know if
There's
it's hard to tell what's real and what's not real, but it is pitched like a reality show.
It kind of toes the line of surrealism versus realism.
Yeah. So there is a Nathan For You bit where he goes to a hotel and he says, you know what problem hotels are facing nowadays? Parents bringing their kids with them to a hotel, and the parents just want to have crazy animal sex, but they can't because their kid is with them.
That's right. Don't they create a box to like lock the kid into?
They create this like huge box. It's probably double the size of these boxes. He goes through all of the trouble of soundproofing it. He has lights in there. It looks like a spaceship. He wants to make it inviting for the child to get into. So he hires or finds a child actor with parental consent. They put the kid in the box in the hotel room. Parents are outside of the room. They have a live stream feed of their kid inside the box. There's a camera inside the box so you can see the kid. Kid has, I don't know, like an iPad or movies or whatever, games or whatever to occupy himself. It locks from the outside. The parents are watching both the inside and the outside of the box. Nathan shuttles in an orgy of people.
It's like a bunch of like pornographic actors, right?
He gets porn stars in there, and there's like, I don't know, 5 of them, and they have an orgy on the bed next to the kid in the box. And his whole thesis is that, look, this box is soundproof. These people are able to enjoy themselves sexually and no one gets hurt. The kid doesn't get scarred from seeing their parents fucking around and you get to enjoy yourself.
So you're thinking about that's what's going on with all these people, all these faithfuls inside their boxes. That's incredible.
Basically, the traitors are coming out and all I could think of was as soon as Eric and Rob are getting out of the box, I'm just over there like, kiss, kiss. They can't hear you, kiss.
Dang. That's so awesome. Yeah, Fielder, Nathan For You, some of the best television of the 2010s.
If you haven't watched it, you have to.
Everything else that he's done
addicting.
Since then, like I truly mean it, generational talent, both as a comedian and as just like someone who understands television. I'm sure he's gonna come out and like he could be president at some point, honestly. Well, I guess he's Canadian, so maybe not, but that's what he's capable of anything.
Seems like we let anyone be president nowadays.
So we see these individuals crawl out of their box. Once they return with their answer, the whole group pops up and Alan cranks a giant handle on a jack-in-the-box that sits in the middle, and an inflatable traitor pops out with the answer that the traitors give. They have an opportunity to bank up to $18,000 for this mission. Rob and Eric have to be incredibly quiet coming out of their box, and that is like, I think it's like on hydraulics, but like lifting the lid, stepping out, you're stepping onto like wood stairs, you're wearing shoes, all of that. But
they're not whispering.
No. That's kind of what's crazy. So maybe like off camera, they assured them that like the boxes are soundproof or something like that.
They got Nathan in there and he soundproofed them with
Nathan Fielder, consultant for Traitors.
His prior technology he developed in Nathan Fielder.
So the first answer, I can't remember what the prompt is, but the first answer is Tara.
They decide on her.
They decide, all right,
based on the actual prompt.
Yes. And they return to their boxes and people come out and the votes are kind of all over the place. So whatever this the first question is, the answers are all over the place. And so they don't get a lot of money. I don't know if it matches the answer of Tara, maybe 1 or 2 players. So we all go back into our boxes. Eric and Rob once again emerge. They walk out into the clearing together. They decide so quickly that they're just going to write Tara for every answer.
And the reason Rob says this is because it's far better to confuse them than to get more money. They already have a pretty big pot. People have won Traitors in the past with less money than they have in their bank right now. So he is playing to win. He is not playing. He's not worried about fighting the battles. He's about winning the war. Yeah,
exactly. So they decide, let's just keep them confused. It's 2 wins. They're all really confused by the end, and there is attention on Tara, and whether that attention is suspicious or not, it's attention away from you.
Well, she even says you don't want your name out there. You don't,
right.
Good or bad. You don't want your name floating around a lot.
So there are 4 total questions, and by the 4th round, most of the group catches on, and they all decide that they're going to vote Tara because they want to win that money. What's amazing is when this 4th question gets answered, Johnny and Tara both vote differently and separate answers.
Guys, what the fuck we literally just decided as a group we are going to vote Tara, which, by the way, I would like to point out too, production must hate this approach.
Sure.
Because if we rewind to last year, the one that was very similar to this was the one on the chessboard. If you remember that challenge,
yes.
where Parvati comes back and Kate from the season 2, they come back to kind of like help host the challenge. Very similar thing. The questions, though, are asked in the turret to the traitors. So that was the change up from this year, is that they're doing it live, kind of out in the open, quote unquote, and kind of as the challenge is unfolding. But we decided as a group, and it's in the traitors' best interest also to then pick Tara for the next round, because they're part of the group that just agreed that everyone was going to write Tara's name down.
Yeah, this is, I think, a crucial mistake on both of their parts. And as soon as that happened, I just think, well, it's looking real grim definitely for Johnny, and it's not looking great for Tara either at this point. But because most people do answer correctly at the end of this round, they do come out of the mission with $5,500.
The least that they've won the entire time.
Now, Alan's twist at the end of this mission is that the traitors must once again emerge from their boxes when everyone else is shut inside and make a short list for murder. They have to come out and decide in real time. Those players that make the short list for murder will remain locked inside their box and be left behind by the rest of the group as they go back to the castle for dinner.
Mommy and daddy are still fucking. You got to stay locked in your box.
So this is where I see Rob. He starts vaulting over the top of his box, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. That's what I would do too. Also, look at him go.
Look at
what
him
a specimen.
go. Hell yeah.
They shortlist Johnny, Tara, Natalie, and Kristen, working under the assumption of the group that one traitor would want to stay behind to throw off the scent. So we're like going through multiple layers of deception here, anticipating what the group is going to assume and then playing off of that anticipation.
If you're a traitor, would you put yourself in the box?
I think that it has to depend on the way that the game has been going. And in this particular instance, I mean, maybe Eric, I don't know. It's a tough call. I think they made the right call here.
I think you're way off by saying Eric, because he is just he just got his little devil horns growing in from his first murder of Dorinda. He's still trying to self-regulate and try to present himself as he's a faithful. You think habits and body language and facial expressions and approach and words haven't changed?
Too much of him as an actor?
Absolutely. Okay. I think you're already bluffing as a traitor, right? You're already being like, I'm a faithful. Now you're bluffing on top of that. Not necessarily a double bluffing, but you're adding additional complexity to your bluff. So now you have to have a much more orchestrated, oh my gosh, I'm on the short list now. It's different if we rewind earlier into the season where like it was more based off of like who, I'm going back to the gravesite one. That one where like you had to put the coffin in the graves.
Right.
And like
the very first one. Yeah.
Yeah. That one was more so a community effort, and you didn't really have control if you were on the short list versus not on the short list. This one is the traitors are picking the short list out in front of everyone, and it's very out in the open. I don't think you risk it. I don't think you put it on there, because there's always going to be a scenario where people are like, oh, is a traitor in the box?
Interesting.
Right?
So do you think they did the right thing here?
I do.
Okay.
I don't think I would have put myself in the box. Rob doesn't need any more attention on him. Eric certainly doesn't need attention on him right now. He's just trying to keep his head above water and act like he's been swimming like he has been the whole time. I think it, again, like we just said, to have your name out there, good or bad, more attention to you. I think the people that they shortlist were the best. You're going to have Natalie continue to spiral. You definitely want Johnny and Tara together because they're also sus. So if a traitor's in the box, who's it going to be? Probably going to be Johnny.
Right.
Right. And yeah, Kristen's just wicked smart. So she also needs to be, you know, up there. And maybe to Rob's not knowledge, it ended up working out for him because they kind of had that confrontation, Tara and Kristen being like, Tara saying that she thinks, or Kristen saying she thinks Tara is the traitor.
Well, that's what's so beautiful about this is it gets brought up later on at the round table as a result of the decisions that Eric and Rob made here. On our way back to dinner, Natalie, hallelujah, actually has a pretty good read for once. She reads Johnny's body language as like super defeated. 1 point for Natalie, right?
Yeah,
which is awesome. And
a second bonus point because she specifically says, I was thinking a traitor was in the box, but because of what you just said, how Johnny was reacting, she goes, now I don't think there's a traitor in the box. I think we're all faithfuls that are in the box.
Yeah, which is huge. And that's like a step in the right direction for her. Johnny,
but then,
Tara, sorry,
but then she has a step back because then she still thinks it's Steven.
Right. Then she immediately
we're
says,
right
I'm
back on our bullshit.
Steven.
Yeah.
And so I also wonder, is that a read on Johnny's body language or is this sort of like confirmation bias?
Yeah, her trying to fuel the Steven.
That it is Steven.
Yeah.
Johnny and Tara walk into the castle arm in arm. We are not hiding anymore that we are working together and that we've been working together this entire time. Everyone kind of watches this go down as they walk by. People are starting to whisper in various rooms as they're eating. What the hell? They're like now out in the open working together. What's going on? We now suspect both of them more than we ever did. Natalie grabs Rob, Kristen, and Mark and tells them it's Steven and she's getting killed tonight. Her paranoia has ruined her game.
The entire game.
And that's crazy because healthy paranoia is a big part of these types of games, but it has just completely derailed any sense of direction for her, honestly.
Well, it's the whole point of Traitors is like whodunit murder mystery, right? So she knows I'm not a traitor, so I'm freaking out. I have no idea who else is a traitor. It could be you, could be you, could be you. I don't know. That is not how she has played past games. I promise you, people who have not seen her in anything else, she is very strategic, and that healthy paranoia that you mentioned fuels her good gameplay in other areas. But this, I think, is just true, unfiltered paranoia to the max, and she doesn't know what to do with her energy.
Before we move on to the round table, I want to talk about this specific exchange that the four of them have, because Rob is going into the round table thinking, well, all eyes on Johnny. He's clearly going to get pushed out because there's so much attention and suspicion around him. This was the plan that we decided last night in the turret. Natalie's grabbing half of the castle, basically, and says, I'm positive it's Steven. She's really making a case. And so at this point, if you're Rob, you go, well, wait a second. Is this something that we want to pivot to? Because if Johnny lives to see another day, then the suspicion of Johnny
fall guy for
lives
tomorrow.
to see another day. And
you got to stay where the momentum is.
Rob's sitting there and he's paying very close attention to Natalie in this moment. And this is where I had to check my wife while we were watching TV, because we see Rob taking all this in and she goes, look at him think. And that's where I think I'm drawing the line on open affection towards Rob.
I believe I was sitting there like this and I was like, look at him
think. Wow. Look, Rob puts a lot of work in at the gym. I don't think that Rob has ever had more than one McDouble at a time. Whoever does his hair is very good. He's got those beautiful eyes. I don't like being pushed aside as potentially not being as smart as Rob in this situation.
I never said that.
Yeah.
I was complimenting Rob's strategy, and I was like, wow, look at him think. You think you're a good thinker.
Yeah, okay.
You're an intellect.
Thank you. Yes. Noted intellect. Matt the podcaster.
You're smart.
Yeah, I wrote that down. That's when I turned. I was
Well,
like,
we were talking about this.
Rein it in a little bit, cowgirl.
We were talking about this last night as we were doing the New York Times crossword. Yeah,
dropping our more intellect stuff.
We've been on that recently, and you looked at me and you're like, I couldn't be married to a dumb person.
That's true.
So we are smart people.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are more nice things we can say about ourselves?
College degrees.
That's just.
I own a business.
We bought that. I bought mine. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to clear the air that there's a lot of things to love about Rob. Let's keep it on the pure. Let's keep it pure lust.
Oh, no
admiration for
I can
mental
like
capacity.
I can like the physical, but if I start liking the intellectual and the emotional,
that's biology, baby.
Yeah, if I start liking the intellectual and emotional, where you're like.
Yes, I feel threatened when intelligence on both just gameplay and emotional intelligence comes into play. All right.
Okay.
These are two areas of pride for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch yourself.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
I'll keep it in check.
Now I will say. It is impressive to watch Rob break all of this down in real time.
Oh my God. So you can swoon after Rob's intelligence, but I can't.
This was unfiltered. This was in the moment,
That's
unfiltered.
True. I didn't even realize what I was doing until you snapped me out of it. You're like, hey, get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, this was like, it was the tone of your voice is when
give it to me one more time.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, you go. Look at him think. It's kind of like when we're watching wrestling and Liv Morgan comes out. It's like that tone
fair.
of voice. I was
like
easy.
But that's still lust.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you mean?
I'm saying the Liv Morgan comment. That's still physical lust.
Well, because this is Liv Morgan wrestling Bailey.
Hot take. She's hot.
Yeah. I'm going to say something really controversial right now. Liv Morgan, pretty attractive lady. Yeah. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, we're good. The round table. Tara starts. She says, Johnny and I have things to bring to the table tonight. Okay, Tara. That's bold because you are we say it takes balls to start at the round table. So you're the first to speak when all of the attention's already on you. B, you are announcing out of the gate, Johnny and I are working together on this one, which to me sounds like it's Johnny and I versus the rest of you.
Right. We are in cahoots. We have had conversations that you don't know about. Our relationship is not as it seems, but now we're going to tell you. Why now? Why are you telling me now?
Let's go back to what Johnny should have done at breakfast this morning. Is it everyone versus Johnny and Tara? Kind of, but you don't want to fuel that mentality.
Divide.
You want to come in and you want to say, all eyes are on Johnny and I right now, but we want to make sure that you guys know that we're working with you and that we want to weed out the last traitor or two. And instead, the way that she presents it, it's kind of like, Johnny and I have got something that we're going to fuck you all up tonight, basically.
And I know
which is
Johnny isn't a traitor.
Well, and I have a lot of notes on that, but I'm trying to go in order here.
Sorry, jumping ahead here.
Johnny cites their loyalty to each other because of their background working together as Olympic athletes and broadcasters. He airs out all of their history that the rest of the castle didn't seem to be very aware of going into the game. This is when Mark interrupts and he says, well, I come from a similar background. I work with long-term partners as a dancer on television, etc.
This is where I don't agree with Mark, though. I don't agree at this take.
But and I don't necessarily agree with it either. But he says, even I, coming into this game with a long-term professional partner, I wouldn't trust them 100%. And this is when Johnny and Tara basically cut him off, and in unison they say, well, we do. You don't get to impose
the way that you feel about other people and place it on two other people and how that they should behave and interact with each other and they should or shouldn't trust each other. I think this is off base for him. I think it lacks legitimacy. And also, a relationship is like the relationship that he has with his dancing partner is not a one-to-one with the two of them have. Because if we rewind earlier into the episode, I believe it was at the mission, Johnny says, oh, we've both been through horrible things and we've been there for each other. He cites a divorce and infertility, which I was like, damn, really throwing Tara under the bus here, buddy. Well, which I did some research on. Did you as well?
Yeah, me too.
So it was very public, Tara's infertility.
She basically had like a whole podcast about it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I get that. But that was my first time learning about it. But I was like, oh my God, like what kind of just weird to throw out there of someone else's business, but it was super out there. And then his divorce Johnny's divorce was also very public because there were some like horrible like domestic abuse allegations going back and forth between them and with his ex-husband. And I think his divorce was like 2014. So if he said that we have been together through her infertility and my divorce, that's at least 12 years of history from the start of his divorce. Rewind prior to that because she had to have been friends and known him and support him through his divorce prior to the divorce, right? So you're looking at close to 15 to 20 years of friendship, intimate, close friendship, which if you've seen them during this Olympics, which obviously the Olympics just finished up by the time we're recording this. So obviously it was after the filming of Traitors. Just watching them on TV and host together is just like, they have this like intangible chemistry, friendship, comfort, not comfortability, because this is my one PSA this season. Comfortability, for all you out there, is not a word.
I don't think this is your one PSA this season, but
no, my one for comfortability.
Okay.
People like to use that word. It is not a fucking word. All the podcasters love to use it. All these reality TV people love to use it. It's not a fucking word.
We're anti-comfortability podcast.
Anti-comfortability. There's comfort and discomfort. No comfortability. Pro comfort. They're super comfortable with each other. I can't even say it now. They are truly best friends. This is not, oh, we went to the Olympics together one time and we're hanging out in the Olympic Village. This is not, oh, we sometimes host together when the Olympics are out. No, these people are a part of each other's lives. They are really, really close. So for Mark to say that, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Mark. You do not get to tell people how they should interact with people from their lives just being a part of this game.
I mean, I think that Mark is looking at this as we don't believe you, basically. Because that's the thing. No one at the table really believes them, even with this reveal, which is also crazy to me because what I have written down is like, why would you act like this if you're a traitor? Why would you get up in front of everyone and say, yes, this is our relationship. We're working together. We're faithfuls.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
And guess what? You also wouldn't say that someone else is a faithful if you were a traitor.
Correct.
Right? So like, they both can't be traitors. And what they were trying to prove at that round table, which questionable if they proved it or not, is the fact that if I'm not a traitor, Johnny cannot be a traitor. Because I would know if he's a traitor. Because we are like this. They are about a half step away from being a married couple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they know each other in and out. They would be able to know if one of them is lying to the other one.
Well, and
that's the case that they were trying to make, is that I know Johnny's not a traitor because I know him like the back of my hand. Johnny knows that Tara's not a traitor because he knows her like the back of his hand, and they both can't be traitors.
That's the thing, is if Johnny sat there silently and Tara had all of this to say, there could still be, I think, some suspicion on Johnny. And if Tara sat there silently and Johnny had all of this to say, but they're so vocal and so commanding together that I'm sitting there and I'm like, why would you suspect them at this point? Because
traitors would not make a spectacle like that.
Right. They're making a huge scene to try and convince people.
And even after the banishment, I have a note here for that, but I think it's relevant to what we're saying now, is that they're kind of like, after the banishment, they're all like laying on each other. They're like cuddled up on like a couch. They're just like lounging like, oh, we made it kind of thing. Traitors would also not do that. Eric would not be all up in Rob's lap, swooning with him.
As much as you would want it.
I'd pay to see it. Coming off of watching Heated Rivalry. But I just watched something click in your brain when I said that.
I'll just take a drink. Let's move on.
But, traitors would not behave like this.
Yeah, that's what's crazy is like
this is the tell that they're faithfuls.
And you know what's amazing? This is one of two things during the round table that just shows how off everyone is and how kind of bad a lot of people are playing as faithfuls.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with how Johnny and Tara delivered this. I think they're playing it fast and loose. I think they also had their back up against the wall, or at least, Johnny was kind of public enemy. Kristen was coming for Tara, so they're like, fuck it. Let's put all the cards out on the table, and like, this is the hand that we were kind of dealt and that we have to play against right now, so let's fucking play against it. So I can't fault them entirely for how they did this.
I'm going to go a little out of order because this all kind of ties together. Kristen cites that she's up for murder the day that she tells Tara she suspects her as a traitor. Now that's evidence. You want to talk evidence? That is actual evidence. And that is a pretty damning point that Tara doesn't really have a rebuttal for. But what they do instead is they pivot to Steven. When they pivot to Steven, they keep going back to Lisa's gold.
Just get over it.
And you made a point while we were watching this. I don't know if you remember, if you want to take it from here, but you made a specific point about how they keep focusing on Lisa's gold and that was such a little thing during a mission that Colton made a big deal around everyone when Candace, a traitor, a known banished traitor, wrote down Rob's name twice. And you go back, you want to cite history of the show? Look at traitor versus traitor conflict. Their final fuck you is writing that person's name down before they leave. And I bet you Candace thought that she was going to cook. I bet you Rob in that moment probably thought that he was cooked.
He probably shit himself. He was the one that probably needed the diaper.
But
not Eric.
Instead, we're so obsessed with this Lisa and Steven gold. And I think part of this is just no one can even fathom Rob being a traitor.
Oh,
he has got something. He has got a connection with everyone there that is, it's amazing.
Because everyone wants to make out with him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just like, what I'm sorry.
I want to be nice to Rob
about?
Because maybe he'll give me a smooch. I think that's how people are playing this game.
Maybe he'll do the New York Times crossword with you. So
all right.
We get to the vote. And I want to point out, Rob and Eric barely spoke this entire roundtable. There's no attention on them. It's all Johnny, Tara, Natalie, and Steven yelling at each other this entire roundtable. This is another time I wrote down, they're basically at the finale. They're basically there. We get to the vote, and this is when...
You're missing almost the biggest part right before the vote. Natalie...
yeah, that's what I have.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
So Natalie...
The way you were phrasing it, I was like, he's going to miss it. He's not going to mention it.
Alan tells people it's time to vote, but first, is anyone going to use the dagger? Natalie, in front of the entire group, turns to Rob and says, just tell them that you have the dagger, because I'm the only one in the group that found the dagger that's up for murder.
Which, okay, the first time we watched this, I was like, you're fucking stupid. Because this is the lens that I've...
sense to me.
This is the lens that I've been, unfortunately, viewing Natalie through this entire season, is like, here she goes, making another misstep. Upon second watch, my perspective of this changed, which I think is maybe a little smarter on her part and less smart on Rob's part. She kind of threw Rob under the bus because he's an unknown traitor. It doesn't matter. But basically, she is doing this so she has some added level of safety during tonight's murder. What do I mean by that? I mean, that they made a pact. They're saying, we're not going to tell anyone who has the dagger, right? No one knows who has the dagger. We're going to conceal it between the group that had the chance to get the dagger. She wants it to be known that Rob has the dagger, because if the traitors don't know who has the dagger, it is in their best interest just to kill Natalie, because she could have the dagger.
Right. Okay.
Meaning that Natalie could come in the next banishment and play the dagger.
So she's protecting her own game.
Because the last chance to use the dagger is between this current banishment and the next one. So that means that there's only one more murder to happen before the dagger is null and void, can't be used again. And so she is like, I'm the only one in the dagger group. The pact that we made does not matter anymore. Tell them that I don't have the dagger, so that
to keep me a faithful.
Yeah,
your fellow faithful. Okay.
To keep your fellow faithful, and to make sure that there isn't a potential bigger target on her.
We needed her in a confessional explaining that.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Because I watched that and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
So Rob does not use the dagger, which means that he goes into the following round table with an extra vote, which is awesome. We vote. 2 votes for Tara. Tara and Johnny are split. There's an even split, actually. So we have Kristen and Mark voting for Tara. Makes sense. Kristen, highly suspicious of Tara. Mark, close ally of Kristen.
But also doesn't make sense, because Kristen's also saying that Mark and Rob are her biggest allies.
Correct.
Why aren't we voting with them?
Well, and this is where it's kind of a split convince, this is where it's really fractured, like everyone's suspicions, because I do think that there's accurate suspicions or appropriate suspicions of all of the people that get votes during this round table. But
this to me just shows the elementary level gameplay that they're coming to
the
this
faithful
game.
Specifically.
Yes, yeah. Because guess what? In all these other shows, you need alliances. Alliances only work when you stick together and you vote the same way.
Vote with the group, yeah.
You gotta vote together as an alliance.
That's a good point. So we're poking some holes in Kristen's gameplay here. The 2 votes for Johnny, Steven and Mara. So we go from an overwhelming majority thinking that the majority is going to vote out Johnny tonight to completely pivot, because Steven is banished at 5 votes, and those votes come from Tara.
Who?
Steven.
Who's banished?
One Tree Hills Steven.
Oh, okay, yeah. I almost forgot he was there.
Tara, Eric, Johnny, Natalie, and Rob all vote Steven. So that's the majority. That is the alliance of Tara and Johnny. Also the Traitors, plus Natalie, which Natalie's just relieved that it's anyone besides her, right? Eric.
Which Sandra from Survivor, that's how she played, and how she was a 2-time millionaire winner of Survivor. She had the anybody but me approach. She didn't care who the fuck went home. She didn't care to have allies. She didn't care if you were her ally going home, her enemy, whoever it is. She was in there interjecting herself and her thoughts and her opinions and pushing things a certain way, as long as it wasn't her. Which maybe that's what Natalie's taking, but it is not being executed with the finesse that Sandra was able to.
A little more explanation, I think, would be nice on Natalie's part.
Mm-hmm.
Eric says something very interesting here. So I mentioned, we don't get a lot of Eric during this round table. That gets called out later. But when he votes for Steven, he says, I really don't know who it is. And so if you're not the traitor, I'm sorry. That is something that a true faithful would say. But at this stage in the game, do you think that Eric is overplaying his hand by putting up that direct front when he knows that it's Steven, instead of just going with the I'm positive that it's Steven attitude that everyone else seems to have?
You mirror people around you. That's what you do if you're a traitor. You mirror and you add fuel to the fire. You do not ignite. You are there to be people's support and to help them move their narrative. Because guess what? When it's wrong, wasn't your idea. You can't blame me. I mean, it wasn't my idea to get Steven out. You presented some really good evidence, Natalie and Johnny and Tara. And I was convinced by you people. Maybe they're the traitors, right?
Well, and let's get into that because Steven is banished. He exits the castle. Kristen takes Eric aside pretty much right after the round table and says, I'm starting to suspect you because you didn't say anything at this last round table. Like, what's up with that? And
which again goes back to what I said in the very beginning of this episode, that they're both on the same wavelength, Eric and Kristen, with the thought that I'm an introvert. I only spoke when I have something important to say because I don't want to get it to be diluted. I'm going to speak with intention and impact very strategically. They both have said very similar things to that. So the fact that they're now at odds, mainly Kristen at odds with Eric over this, I'm like, girl, he's the same person. She's right, but I don't like her approach from that because if he doesn't have anything to say and Johnny and Tara, it's the Johnny and Tara show at the banishment and you have Natalie going and you have Kristen going and you have everyone going and it's Steven, and why feel the need to say anything when you're convinced that it's going to be Steven and that's our plan for tonight and everyone else is exploding and having fireworks. I'm not going to ignite fireworks for the sake of fireworks. So I don't like that she goes after him for the same fact that she characterized herself earlier in the episode.
I think he has a pretty good excuse here. He says, well, I thought that we were going Johnny tonight. And so the pivot to Steven and Tara really threw me for a fucking loop. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. So I just let things happen. But pretty good way to handle that. It
wasn't good enough for her.
No, unfortunately not. I think if it was anyone else, he probably would have skated by. I am impressed with Eric in this moment. This is the first time that he's ever been confronted as a traitor, and I think he plays it remarkably well for someone who is terrified their first day as a recruited traitor.
And don't forget, at this point when Kristen is confronting Eric, he has only been a traitor for less than 24 hours.
Right.
Like, he answered it, I think, about as good as he could. And then Kristen goes to Mark and Rob and says, if I get murdered tonight, right, because she's on the short list with Johnny, Tara, and Natalie, those are the four that we could murder. She goes to Mark and Rob and says, if I'm murdered tonight, it's Eric. Which, again, I don't really agree with because you are on a short list. It's not just a free-for-all, anyone can be murdered. So if you're murdered tonight, it could be multiple reasons, right? But she makes the mistake of telling Rob. Rob has two choices here in this. What could happen next after this?
You know what he's doing?
He does not tell Eric.
He's thinking.
He's thinking. Oh,
look at him go.
Fucking look at him. Just get in there and
Jesus.
Rob. Option one is he doesn't tell Eric and he goes, yeah, Kristen. Yeah, Mark, if Kristen gets murdered, it could be Eric. You go and you kill Kristen and you frame Eric. You position, you link up with Mark and be like, oh my God, Kristen said if she's died, it's Eric. It could be Eric. You team up with Mark. You let Mark run around and tell everyone what he said. And if you're Rob, you're like, I'm sorry, Eric, but Kristen did come to us and say that.
Yeah.
And you watch Eric fucking flail. You watch him get banished. And you go, wow, it was Eric. 4 traitors are out of the game. That could be all of them. We could all be sitting here with faithfuls.
And that's
as faithfuls. Option 2 that Rob has now with this information is to go back to Eric and say, Eric, I trust you. We're going to win this together, and this is how we're going to do it. Kristen came to Mark and I and said, if she dies tonight, it's you that did it. We can't kill Kristen tonight because I cannot have that coming back on you. We have to kill Natalie or whoever, right?
And then brave Kristen for another day.
Brave Kristen for another day. You need Kristen at the final at this point if you're Rob and Eric working together as traitors. If Rob wants to win this all by himself, that's what he does. He lets Eric fall. But based on their hunky-dory, yay, you're in the turret with me now moment earlier on. And again, Rob using the words trust and equals and strategic and logic. I don't know if he's going to cross Eric.
It's truly like something that I can't predict. And that's what's so awesome about the way that the show ends is I don't know what he's going to want to do because he doesn't have an ego. We've seen that in the way that he plays. He just wants to make it to the finish line. He wants to win. But 24 hours ago, you thought that Eric was your ticket to that finish line. Now he might have to go down for you to be able to even see the finish line. And I am dying to know where he goes. Because what would you do in this situation if you are Rob?
I think at this point,
what's the right move? Because there's only one right move.
It's so tricky because the more cooks in the kitchen does make it messier at the end. We saw that last season with Danielle and Brittany being recruited at the last second and then both, fucking that up. So if I'm Rob, I don't think I say anything because meaning that I would let Eric take the fall or I wouldn't push for anything. If it's Eric's idea to get out Kristen, then that is what the gods dropped down on me and I'm not going to say anything. And Eric said Kristen and I'll let him bury himself.
But then you're not looking out for your fellow traitor in that moment.
No.
You're letting it happen. So it sounds like you're kind of letting Eric go either way. It's just which way.
It sucks because I do like Eric, right? But Rob also liked Lisa. And for a while there, he also liked Candace.
So
I think if Rob wants to be king of all traitors next to Queen Suri and go down in traitor history, he lets Eric take himself out of the game, meaning that he does not tell him about the Kristen comment. If Eric wants Kristen out, he lets it happen. And he lets Eric take the fall.
If you kill Kristen, you can pin it on Tara.
Yeah, you can also pin it on Tara, too.
Because don't forget, Mark voted Tara in the round table. So Mark already has suspicions of Tara.
Right.
Mark is close with Rob. Rob could feasibly convince Mark that it's not Eric and that he's positive that it's Tara.
And two, we have the alliance of Rob, Mark, and Kristen. The worst thing that could happen for Rob is someone starts sniffing him out and now his two biggest allies, Mark and Kristen, flip on him together. That would need a lot of orchestrating going on there to have that happen. But I think it's better for him to have Mara really close to him and to have Mark really close to him separately.
Agreed.
I don't think he needs Kristen anymore. And I think Kristen going is good for him. Again, we were in this alliance. They're coming to get us. Mark, what do we do? Come here, Mark. You're going to be closer to me. And then you let Eric take the fall and you kind of put your hands up and go,
here's how I think that Kristen and Rob and Eric can make it to the end together.
Yeah, give it to me because I've been on the anti-train.
If I'm Rob, I get into the turret with Eric and I say, hey, man.
And you just take his upper back and you kind of bend him over the top of the turret a little bit. And sorry. This is just my fantasy now.
This is our thinking room. Okay. You and me, we're gonna do some thinking here. I brought some Sudoku. So I go into the turret and I tell Eric, playa, dog, homie,
brother from another mother.
Kristen is suspicious of you. She told Mark and I, we can't kill her tonight because if we kill her, Mark's going to be on the scent. Kristen and Mark suspect Tara. They voted Tara together, but Kristen led the charge on Tara. Kristen, you could think, convinced Mark to vote Tara instead of Johnny or Steven based on her arguments. If you kill Tara, it accomplishes a couple different things. it isolates Johnny, which means that Johnny is going to be scared and alone going into the next round table. You handicap Johnny and you go up to him and you say, "Hey Johnny, we know that you would never kill Tara. We know that you're a faithful. We believe you." Johnny's going to be so relieved.
He's going to
be so relieved because he's a faithful, and you, as Rob and Eric, know that Johnny's a faithful.
Right.
So you use that to your advantage. You go to Johnny and you say, "Johnny, we know that you're a faithful."
No, you go separately.
Yes.
One-on-one.
Yeah, you work them individually.
You tell him a very similar story and be like, "Wow, people finally believe me."
You work them individually, yes. And now you've got Johnny's vote at the round table. You say, "We think it's Kristen. We're going to vote Kristen tonight." Now you have Eric, Rob, and Johnny.
And Rob's extra vote from his dagger.
And Rob's extra vote, which at this point would put them at the majority. If you want insurance, Eric and Rob go to Mark and they say, "Mark, we've been talking."
I don't think Eric needs to go to Mark. I think just Rob needs to go to Mark.
Or you let Rob go to Mark and you say,
Rob's got Mara in his back pocket too.
"I'm suspicious of Kristen. Here's why," right? You can gather that evidence. You can just say, "Hey, here's how the vote's going to go tonight," because you don't want Mark to feel completely left out if he's in this, alliance. I think, and then, we use the dagger. Kristen is the banishment. I think you're coasting to the final from there. I think that's I think Kristen is the last actual threat in this game. I think Mark is lockstep with Rob, and I don't think he's suspecting Eric unless...
I'll throw one last thing in here. You need to get a traitor out before you enter the final little portion of the game, because murders are still happening. If murders are still happening, that means there's a traitor.
There's another murder after next episode? There are 2 murders left, is what you're saying?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Or no,
okay.
There's 1 murder and 1 banishment.
Right. Okay.
Official banishment. And then there's like the end of game kind of banishment rapid fire thing at the end. There's another murder. That means that there is another traitor among us, at least one, which means that one of the traitors needs to fall at the end, near the end.
Okay.
So if one of them either has to go now during this next banishment,
there's no scenario where they both make it to the end?
It'd be pretty difficult,
okay,
I think, because a murder's still happening. Candace was the last traitor that we got, right? Murders have still happened. That means there's still a traitor left in the room with us.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha. I'm following.
So if you're at the very end and you're looking at everyone and you're throwing your little bag of sand or whatever, the bag of dust, whatever it is, in the fire, and it's lighting up if you want to end the game or not in the game, if I'm a faithful, we're going to keep being in this game until we get one of these traitors out, because I'm not going to lose to traitors. So it's in Rob's best interest to either get Eric out now or to let him completely fall at the end. Because from a traitor perspective, it makes no sense to go in with 2 traitors. Not at this point. Murder's still happening.
So you think the only way that Eric makes it to the end is if he fucks Rob over?
Yep.
Interesting.
That's, in this scenario, that is the only way that I think one of the traitors wins, is if they fuck over another traitor.
Fuck. The show rocks.
Or unless they keep banishing all the faithfuls at the very end.
True. I mean, if they really
have
command.
That's the other way.
Well, but look at it, dude. If you kill Tara, you banish Kristen, you still have Johnny and Natalie, who are both suspicious. You've got Mara and Mark. You could ice out Johnny and Natalie that way.
Yeah.
Because you're keeping around 2 people who have been suspicious the entire time. I think it's still possible.
Okay.
I'd love to see that shit work out. And God, maybe we have 2 episodes left. Maybe someone will reference Johnny and the Skull Challenge.
No, I don't think so.
Come on.
I think that's dead.
I
don't
need to
think
be
anyone's.
vindicated.
I don't think anyone's. I mean, maybe now that Eric is a traitor, he's looking up to let Johnny fall, and he was the one that suffered the direct consequence from Johnny shit in the bed during the find the skull and stack him challenge while Eric's in the cage.
Yeah.
So maybe we might get that.
There we go.
If Eric's grasping.
And
for Johnny.
That calls all the way back to like a who do you kill situation from that episode. I think that was like episode 3. So
yeah.
So we will see. Before the episode ends, we see the marked players for death. So that is Tara, Johnny, Natalie, and Kristen. They all individually travel down to the dungeon where there is another Jack in the Box. They crank the Jack in the Box. And if a traitor pops out, they are murdered. And that's where we end this episode. And soon this week, in the next couple of days, we'll do a recap of episode 10 with the finale to follow. And then we jump right into Survivor 50. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, whatever the fuck. We have full video episodes on YouTube as well if you like to watch your podcasts. And we are on Instagram at Backdoors and Blindsides. And until next time, whether you like it in the castle, like me,
Or you like it in the turret with Rob, like me.
However you like your game played, true faithfuls and master traders are always taken care of here on
Backdoors and Blindsides.